Good morning and welcome. Well, it's a very wet day here in South Africa, and I'm very quickly trying to turn the analog radio off because I've got some people blasting inside of my ear. There we go. Now it's off. Now I can hear you. My name is Tayla, and on camera with me is Bryan and the very smart-looking Thumb. He's shown us up today because it's the morning and he's dressed in a suit and tie. Very, very fancy for out here in the bush. But as you saw, we've got a beautiful big male lion sitting right here. Now, if you're wondering what we are and what we do, you are currently on a live safari, and I'd love to interact with you. So if you have any questions for me, send them through. You can just comment below. And also, I've got some more great news for all of you, is that we are doing a series with Nat Geo Wild, and you can watch us live on TV every Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Nat Geo Wild channel. Now remember, this is only if you are living in the States. I think I've maybe turned off the wrong radio. Let me just quickly, I'm having some interesting issues here. I'm just trying to turn off the right radio at the moment. There we go, that's a little bit better. But you can see he is fast asleep currently, but he's been roaring. Every now and then, even though he's in the horizontal position, he'll get up and he will actually start roaring. And I think that's because he is looking for the rest of his brothers. Maybe he's looking for the pride that he seems, well, that he looks after. We haven't seen them for a couple of days, but hopefully they're going to make a return, because we did hear some lions calling off in the distance. But not right now. Now you can see there's lots and lots of little midges flying around this morning. Now you can see them all buzzing around his mane. It's been raining, just a bit of a drizzle though, and it's quite breezy, so I'm surprised that they're around. But you will typically see though, after a bit of rain, quite a large amount of insect activity. And these little midges are not pleasant to have around. I'm actually surprised he hasn't started swatting at them, because they bite. They are horrible biting little midges. They bite our legs when you least expect it. And I'm sure he's going to do quite a few swats in a moment. Hello, Jimmy. Jimmy, you said that this is a beautiful lion. It is indeed. He's an interesting looking one. I wouldn't say that he's the most gorgeous looking thing, well, out of lions that I've seen. He's quite battered up. You can see that his canine is quite exposed, and that's because he had a big injury on his face and he lost a chunk of flesh. So that is actually why he goes by the name of Tinyo, which means tooth, and that's purely because his tooth is exposed. There we go, you can see it. But the scar is healed up quite nicely. Now, if you want to send any questions through, and, well, if you want to give anything answered, or let us know how you're doing, what you're up to, you can just comment below. But I'd really love it if you'd send me through some questions about coming on safari in Africa, or even, well, just about gorgeous lions in general. Hello, Kathleen. Now, you've made a bit of an observation. You said, is he young? He looks like he's only about 2 years old. Kathleen, it's a big male lion, this. It's just probably because he's laying down at the moment that he might look a little bit small. But he's about 6 years old now, so he's in the prime of his life. But also, another way that you can tell how old he is if you look at his mane. So you can see that he's got quite a big mane around his neck, and it goes darker towards the chest. But the fact that you can see the patch of hair on his elbows, you see that? It's a bit difficult because it's been raining and it's now wet and it just blends in with the rest of his hair, but that's actually still part of his mane. And when it sort of darkens at the elbow, that typically means they've reached about 5.5 or 6 years old. Younger male lions will not have that darkening on their elbows, and also it's a sign of maturity if their manes go dark. But not all male lions have dark manes. Some have beautiful big blonde manes. But you can see he's very relaxed with us around here too. And it looks as though he's been feasting on something. He's got a bit of a belly. Rochelle, you want to know if there are any other lions around him? We heard some lions in the distance, sort of quite far northeast, probably on our boundary of our traverse. So the animals have got 8.5 million acres of land to roam around on. We're in the Greater Kruger National Park, and we've got a certain section that we can traverse on, but the animals can go wherever they like. And the Nkuhuma Pride, which is the pride that sort of hangs around this area, was just off in Buffalo's Hook, and they've been there for the last few days. And we heard some calls, so it could either be one of his brothers that was responding, but it was so far away, it may have even been a female doing a roar. We're a little bit uncertain for the moment, and at that distance, it's quite difficult to tell if it's a male or female. Typically, males have much deeper roars, and they sort of roar for a longer time. There we go, Rochelle. Now I think you'll probably agree, looking at him now, he doesn't look like such a young male lion. And they can be quite deceiving when they lay flat like that. But isn't he gorgeous? He's actually got a lovely dark mane. It's come along quite nicely since they've arrived. Now, Janae, you're actually wondering how far away we are from him. Should we show them? Look at this. Almost. We're not far at all. We're sitting right here. Now, they're not tame in any way. They're completely wild animals. But what happens is that we've been interacting with all the different animals for over 30 years. So they become habituated to the vehicle. We don't feed them. We don't help them if they are injured or anything. We let nature take its course around here. And, well, it starts off that you park quite a far distance away. And then as it sort of progresses, they'll allow you to get closer and closer. And they come closer and closer. If he were to get up and walk past us, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd hug right next to the car and go past my legs. There's nothing to fear. As long as you sit still, keep your bums on the seats, and don't try and draw too much attention to yourself, you'll be safe, and you'll be able to have an amazing close interaction with these big cats. But still got his eyes closed, and that's so typical of a male lion. Hello, Cabrina. Cabrina, you want to know the life Brian, what's wrong with me? You want to know, I can't say my words today. English seems to be a difficult language for me first thing in the morning. But Cabrina, you're wondering, how long do lions live for? Now, it depends. A male lion, especially the one that we're looking at now, him and his brothers probably wouldn't live for too much longer than, I think, just over 10 years. A really old male lion will get to about 12, but there are very few that see that age. And then females live for slightly longer. They can live up to about 16 years old. See, that's where he's looking now. That's the direction that those roars were coming from. They might be getting closer. Now, Hunter, you've said that, is it true that male lions with darker manes are more dominant? There's been a couple of studies that they've done that suggests that this is true. Normally, a darker mane means good genetics, and it's not just with lions, it's with all the male mammals out here. Even giraffe will go lovely dark chocolate brown in color when they've reached sexual maturity and when they're sort of in the prime of their life. And it's the same. Eland, which is a big antelope, tend to go a much darker gray than the females, and the same goes for another antelope called a kudu. So I suppose that there's some truth to it, but like I said, I've seen some really massive blonde-maned lions too. But now, remember, I don't know if you have maybe seen us before. It isn't just me out here. James is in the tent looking at all sorts of things under a microscope, and he's got a wonderful selection of skulls. Steph is just about to go out on foot to scour the area and look for all the wonderful animals and maybe even some insects. And then, of course, Byron is also driving around, and I know he was looking for leopards, so you can .com. And we're going to continue, of course. We're going to stick with the lions. We're hopefully going to find the rest of the pride. And that will, well, if you want to carry on watching, you will have to go across to WildSafariLive.com. Now remember, we've got a TV show as well with Nat Geo Wild. We're going to be on episode 3, Sunday 9, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Nat Geo Wild channel. This only applies if you're living in the USA. Now, it's been a wonderful morning, and I hope that you've enjoyed this little time that we've spent with you. But for myself and Brian, it's been wonderful. But hopefully we'll see you back across on WildSafariLive.com. And maybe the rest of the pride will join up.